Merry Christmas, everyone, and welcome to a special holiday edition of AI Pulse. You'd think the world would slow down a bit for the festivities, but not the world of AI. It truly never stops. So today, we're going to unwrap some of the biggest AI news that's breaking right now. It's a real mix of surprising breakthroughs and, yeah, some growing controversies. Let's get into it. So, what exactly did the AI world find under the tree this Christmas? Well, it's a bit of a mixed bag, to be honest. We've got some incredible, game-changing innovations, and also a few lumps of coal in the form of some serious growing pains. Let's start with the good stuff, the breakthroughs. First up, let's talk about the innovation engine, that unstoppable push of progress that just keeps going. And this year, a major surprise came roaring out of China, and it's completely reset the pace for the global AI race. Yet people are literally calling it China's Sputnik moment. That's a huge deal. It's how the industry started describing the launch of DeepSeek R1. It was this massive wake-up call. It basically proved that cutting-edge AI could come from absolutely anywhere, not just the usual suspects in Silicon Valley. So what's fueling this incredible surge? Well, it's a potent combination of things. First, you've got massive, and I mean massive, government investment pouring into companies like ZipU AI. They're also laser-focused on practical, real-world applications and making open-source tools that developers can actually afford and use. They're also putting a lot of support into robotics. But you want to know the real game changer? It's their global expansion with a deep focus on local language support. That's how you really make an impact. Okay, so while China's AI ecosystem is diversifying and exploding with new players, a very different story is unfolding over in the US. It's all about consolidation. The tech giants are getting bigger, and they're doing it in a very particular way. Meet the acqui-hire. It's Silicon Valley's latest power move. So instead of buying a company outright, a tech giant like NVIDIA will just license its key technology, and then they'll poach the founder, the CEO, and all the top engineers. The original startup technically survives, but its creative core, its heart and soul, is gone, absorbed into the giant. And this isn't a one-off thing, not at all. You see it with NVIDIA and Grok, with Google and Character AI, and Meta's in on it too. The pattern is crystal clear. In the US, innovation is being consolidated. Power is concentrating, with just a few major players calling all the shots. But as AI's power just continues to grow and grow, so does public skepticism. And this brings us to what might be the biggest challenge facing the entire industry right now: a human-sized problem, a massive, widening trust deficit. 307. Just look at that number. That's the score on the 2025 AI Trust Index. And let me tell you, it is not good news. It signifies high concern from the public. And what's maybe even more worrying is that this number has been stuck in a trust rut for 2 years now. This chart, wow, it says it all. You've got 83% of AI developers feeling optimistic about the future. But when you look at end users, at us, only 65% feel the same way. That's not just a gap, my friends. That's a chasm. It's a full-blown crisis of confidence. And this crisis of confidence has very real-world consequences. Just listen to this quote from Guillaume Brioche, the director of the upcoming game Clair Obscure Expedition 33. His team tried using AI, and in his own words, quote, "We tried it and we didn't like it at all. It felt wrong." And that feeling, it had consequences. The studio's use of AI, even for temporary placeholder assets, actually cost them 2 major awards because of a strict anti-AI policy. Their response? They made a very public commitment to being 100% human-made. This is the trust gap in action. So this clash between relentless innovation and this growing trust problem is forcing a reckoning. New rules for a new era are needed, and the battle lines are being drawn. So let's look at the 2 key conflicts that are shaping AI's future as we speak. The 2 biggest fights in AI right now boil down to 2 simple things: money and data. How are we going to pay for these powerful tools? And what data are they allowed to learn from? For example, OpenAI is reportedly looking at showing ads right inside ChatGPT responses. At the same time, Japan's Fair Trade Commission is investigating if AI companies are basically stealing news articles to train their models without permission. And that probe in Japan raises this huge, fundamental question for the entire industry. Should AI get to read the news for free? Publishers are shouting absolutely not, while the tech companies argue it's essential for building smarter AI. This battle, it is just getting started. So, after all that, what does this really mean for the future of AI? What are we unwrapping as we look ahead? Well, from China's rise to the growing trust gap, a few key tensions are emerging that are really going to define the year ahead. When we look back at all the news from 2025, it really boils down to three core conflicts. It's innovation versus trust. It's the consolidation of power versus the push for independent creativity. And it's the need for monetization versus the basic principles of fairness. These are the battles that will shape the future of AI. So as we head into the new year and as AI's capabilities just keep growing exponentially, one question looms over everything else. Who gets to set the terms? Who gets to write the rules? Will it be the tech giants, governments, the creators, or us, the public? The answer to that is going to define all of our futures. Thanks for tuning in to this special Christmas edition of AI Pulse.